independent and resilient kids.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking at this excerpt from Parental Presence, a balanced approach to nurturing independence. And just reading that title, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that we could all use a little help with nowadays.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents struggle with that balance,
Yeah.
wanting to be there for their kids, but also giving them the space to grow.
Yeah, exactly. Like how do you be there for them, but also let them become their own people?
Exactly.
So this excerpt talks about this idea of parental presence, and it's not necessarily what you think. It's not just about like being there physically all the time.
Right. It's not just about, being in the same room or hovering over them.
Yeah. So what is it then?
Well, the book argues that parental presence can be felt even when you're not physically there.
Okay.
It's about creating a structure and a framework for your kids. Oh, okay.
Where they feel your guidance even when you're not around.
So it's more about like setting clear expectations and giving them the space to kind of figure things out on their own.
Exactly.
Okay.
Think about, if you have a chore system for your child and they know what's expected of them, even when you're at work,
right?
They still feel your presence through that structure.
Okay. So that makes sense. But I'm also thinking like, if you're not physically there and they're always having to figure things out on their own, could they feel a little abandoned?
Yeah, and that's a common concern that the book addresses.
Okay.
It emphasizes that letting kids face challenges on their own isn't about abandoning them, it's about building resilience.
Oh, okay. So it's more about teaching them to be independent and figure things out on their own.
Exactly. And it uses this great analogy of the school of hard knocks.
Ooh, the school of hard knocks. I like that. But I do wonder, does that apply to like every situation?
That's a good point. Like what about when kids are like facing emotional challenges?
Yeah, you have to be discerning. Letting them experience natural consequences can be great for learning some lessons, but emotional challenges might require a different approach.
Right.
So it's about providing support and guidance,
right,
but still encouraging them to work through those emotions and develop coping mechanisms on their own.
So you're still there to help them,
yeah,
but you're not solving the problem for them.
Right.
Got it. And the excerpt also talks about some of the benefits of this approach.
Yeah, it argues that when children grapple with challenges independently, they develop essential skills.
Okay.
Like resilience, creativity, and problem solving.
Oh, okay.
And these are skills that you can't just teach them.
Right.
They have to learn them through experience.
That makes sense.
Think back to your own childhood. The times you figure something out on your own probably had a much bigger impact than that.
Yeah, I remember building a tree house with my siblings. And oh my gosh, that was like the best and the worst all at the same time. It was such a mess.
Yeah.
But we learned so much and we were so proud of ourselves.
Exactly. And those are the experiences that prepare them for the real world.
Right, because mom and dad aren't going to be there to like fix every problem they're going to have.
Exactly. The world isn't always going to be a safe and supportive environment.
Right.
So we need to equip them to handle things on their own.
So it sounds like the main takeaway here is that parental presence isn't about being there all the time. It's more about like setting them up for success.
Yeah, it's about empowering them to navigate their own paths.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of brings us to a question for all of you listening. How can you strike that balance in your own unique way?
Right. How can you foster both a sense of security and a spirit of independence in the children you care for?
Yeah. And maybe something to think about is like, how did you grow up? Did your parents hover? Did they give you tons of freedom? How can you use those experiences to become a better parent for your own kids?
Yeah.
Something I'm definitely thinking about. So yeah, that's it for this deep dive, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Bye.